to the ManTFup podcast, hanging out in the man cave with none other than Grant Cardone. This is a very exciting day.
Oh, thank you.
Episode 3 of season 2. I'm Kimmy B. We've got
Lenny.
Lenny. Honestly, Grant, the list
Kimmy,
of
Lenny, Granty.
Granty, there you go.
All right,
I'm
we got
here
that.
for it. Listen, I'm absolutely here for that, Granty. The list of descriptors I could use
Yeah.
or rattle off is so ridiculously long that it would take up all of our time with you. So I'm going to go with New York Times bestseller, real estate extraordinaire, motivational guru, and then obviously, incredible businessman. I can't remember the number of companies you have, but I know you are definitely operating in the billion-dollar,
Yeah.
area there, which is absolutely incredible, but it was not always that way. In fact, I think you and Len have a lot you can talk about and kind of connect on as far as the journey to getting to where you're at. So welcome to the Man Cave. We're really excited for this conversation. And honestly, Len, I know you've been waiting for this day. You've got a lot of questions.
I've been thinking a lot about it.
Yeah. So you kick it off.
I would like to think that I'm where you were when you started. That's just that's my thought on it. I have a lot of questions for you based about around the grind that it takes to actually get to where you've gotten and the lack of people seeing that and realizing that.
Yeah, most people that are seeing me today, I walk in first, I just want to, your offices are awesome and the people you have around you is great. And the graphic that you have on the wall, maybe somebody can insert it later, but it's, it's got success in the center and it's beautiful. It says think, idea, try, do it again and again, keep doing. And people that are meeting me today or in the last year or 2 years or 3 years, you see me get off of my own plane with my name on it, and you're like, oh my God, wow. But you don't see when I was 29 years old and 30 years old and nobody knew me, I was nobody except in my own mind. I'm like, I got this, I could be somebody. I knew I could be somebody. They don't see the 3 million miles I flew in a commercial plane in a middle seat because I wouldn't upgrade myself to first class because I didn't have the money. They don't see when I was 19 years old that I was a drug addict every day. Like every day I was using drugs because a guy named Danny got a hold of me. I didn't have a dad. I didn't have any uncles helping me. I didn't have a mentor. I didn't have a guide. And, in life, somebody will come along, always. It's not true that we're not mentored. We're all mentored. Most of us are just mentored the wrong way. And this guy, Danny, got a hold of me, said, I'll be your daddy. And the next thing you know, from 15 to 25, I was a daily drug addict. And I overdosed 3 times, had 80 stitches put in my head and face. And that's the world I come from. So when I got out of treatment, my grind wasn't for money. My grind was simply not to go back to drugs. And so I built this discipline. Work became my salvation, And I remember I was in a meeting for drug addicts, and the guy's like, "You're just replacing your other addiction with work." I'm like, "Yeah, good for me, bro." Okay, let's go. I got to replace it with something.
Facts.
That's so true. And people, oh, you work all the time. People are giving me crap. I'm like, when I wake up in the morning, I'm thinking about something. I try and instill it on my kids. Hey, everybody you meet is an opportunity for your future. It doesn't matter who it is. It doesn't matter. But every person you come across, you should always be thinking about, hey, that guy does something that's really cool.
Yeah.
In 10 years, you might be doing something that relates to that. And you go, hey, I remember that guy that, and I think it's difficult for the younger generation to see that because they see this.
Oh, they see the Instagram.
And their eyes are closed. And I have a funny story about my youngest. I go to this restaurant in Fort Lauderdale. I go there all the time. They know me. And I took the kids there and we have a nice dinner. And my youngest, as we're walking out, leaves us and goes in and finds the maitre d' and shakes his hand and says, thank you. And I'm like, I did my job.
Right.
Right. Because he is conscious of who's in there and who the people are around him. And, it's a shame, but I think a lot of that is missing. I think you do a great job of raising your kids also, from what I can see. And, That's a difficulty in today's society.
Yeah.
For me.
Yeah, because I mean, like, again, it goes back to like we all have mentors. There's like people call me and say, "Hey, man, I need a coach. I need a mentor." I'm like, "Bro, you need to get rid of mentors first. You're getting advice from everywhere today. It's a perpetual like just content coming in everywhere."
Yeah.
Gary says to do this, Grant says to do that, Tony says to do this, she says to do that. Like Oprah says I should find life balance. I'm like, you ain't found it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's bad advice everywhere. So really where my life started getting good was when I just cut down the amount of advice I got. And I started like looking way up the food chain.
So did you see where you're at today in 2022?
Yeah, no, I didn't see this.
Okay, you didn't see this coming.
I remember Barbara Streisand did an interview years ago. Most of your audience won't even know who that is today, but
Shame on them if they don't.
megastar. I had a crush on her when I was 15 years old.
She's a boss.
So she said that she visualized every single thing that ever happened to her. I think Oprah makes the similar comment. Where I'm at today, I did not visualize this. Like I didn't think like I would ever be in $1 billion game. We have $5.2 billion worth of real estate. Most of it's in Florida. I've been buying it for the last 8 years. We have the other 18 companies are worth, I don't know, $3.5 to $4 billion and growing every day. We've done $1.2 billion of internet sales online every day, banging out $500,000 and $600,000 every single day of the year. And by the way, I'm still
Let me. You said $500,000 and $600,000 a day.
every day.
Okay.
Even Easter.
Len, we got a little ways to go, Len.
Absolutely. Like I said, I'm where he was when
But
he
dude,
started.
I remember when I was like hustling $200. Like I was trying to get a $200 deal. I remember when I was 31 years old, I came to Fort Lauderdale. I lived in Houston, Texas, and I came here to do an event for business owners. And I think it cost $195 to see me for 2 days. $195. It was a 16-hour event. And I came in and taught people how to grow their top line, their revenue. 19 people showed up. I was here 2 weeks marketing this event. The hotel was more than the money I collected. 30 years ago, your phone bill could be $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 a month.
Yes.
Like, so it was a loser. I went back to Houston. It was the hardest market I've ever been in because the people in Fort Lauderdale had all come from New York, basically, and they're freaking rude, crude, mean, gangster kind of people. So like that's, I was cold calling on companies around the country, walking in at 31 years old, knocking on the door. My name's Grant Cardone. I got a new way to do things. I can increase your revenue. Get out of here, kid. Fuck you. Get out of here. I need to get out of here. Or they tricked me like this guy down in Kendall said, yeah, you can do 10 minutes. You can do our meeting today. I'd go in and do the meeting, and literally 1 minute into the meeting, get out of here. And just embarrassed me in front of 50 or 60 people, right? So that's where I was, man. I never thought I would be doing, because the internet didn't exist, Instagram didn't exist, YouTube, none of these ways to scale existed.
Yeah, I think we're about the same age, and I
How old are you?
I'm 55. So.
Oh, dude, I hope I look as good as you when I'm your age.
Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. But the thing that you have that a lot of people don't is, even through all of that, the next day you woke up and you said, hey, it's a new day. I'm going to do it today.
Yeah.
And that's what I think a lot of people don't realize. I think I heard the thing that, the successful people are the people who tried one more time.
Dude, they don't quit, man.
Yeah.
They quit, but they start again.
Pivot.
They're like, okay, let me go give it one more shot. Like, they just don't quit. Like, and I had a guy tell me recently, he's like, look, man, I read this in a policy letter he had written. He said, if you don't quit, you can't fail. And when I saw that, I'm like, oh yeah, dude, if any person, I don't care who you are, black, brown, white, young, old, whatever, if a person would pursue a certain goal, and regardless of how many times they're disappointed or discouraged, got up and tried again, you won't fail. You'll run out of money.
Yeah.
You'll be beat up, bruised up, hungry, scared. But if you get up one more time, that's going to be the time, the one more time.
You have an incredible level of mental control over yourself. That is something that is in your books. It's something that you talk about on Instagram a lot. it's mind control, and it's funny because I think when people hear the phrase mind control, they're like, it goes Manchurian Candidate, or it goes, it goes someplace else, and it's like, no, I'm not talking about controlling other people.
Right.
I'm talking about controlling myself.
Yeah.
How important is that? And I think that I hope you're able to kind of stress this or give a little insight into it in terms of
I believe in all that stuff, by the way, the Manchurian Candidate.
Yeah, but I think that people always go that direction, and it's like you talk a lot about success starting with yourself, belief starting with yourself, that, obsessed or be average.
Yeah.
The obsession has got to start with yourself, and then you have people that will hear that and go, what an egotistical maniac. Like, are you kidding me? But if you read the books or you listen a little longer to the clip, you realize it's not coming from a place of ego. It's really I feel like, from a place of accountability.
Yeah, totally. Like even wealth. Wealth is, to me, we have been brainwashed. The Manchurian Candidate stuff is, this wasn't just CIA activities. It's been done to the entire planet America.
Of course.
It's a movie, guys. You can watch it. I'm just saying, if you've never seen it.
You guys are in the movie. That's the problem that people don't understand. You're
Matrix.
watching a movie, but you're in the movie. We have been programmed. It is my belief that there is no way. Just take America, 330 million people, whether you like what's going on here or not, this country has the most opportunities of any country on planet Earth.
Amen.
It is endless amounts of opportunities, yet 250 million people barely get by.
Paycheck to paycheck, if you're lucky.
But we're told we're free. We're told we're the wealthiest country. We're told we're the land of the free, the home of the brave, all this bullshit, rah, rah, rah. But all these people are in poverty or just above the poverty line or stuck in the middle class. When I see that, I'm like, the only way for that to happen is programming.
Yep.
That many people cannot be lazy. That many people cannot be stupid. It's like everybody in Vegas is playing out of the same book, and not a majority of them are losing, but they know how to play the game.
But then comes along a Grant Cardone,
and then I say,
and fucks it all up.
And I say, man, I'm trying to wake people up, but they don't like it because when I say, look, you need to be selfish before you're generous. Okay, I say, look, it is selfish to just get by because all you're doing is thinking about yourself. I suggest that people don't take advice from a millionaire because a millionaire basically is a person that just got money for the first time in their life, and now they're scared. You're more scared when you become a millionaire than on the way up to becoming a millionaire because now you have something to lose. I'm like, never take advice from that guy because he's into conservation. What you want to do is take advice from people that have so much money they have nothing to lose. The whole idea about money won't make you happy, that is, the person that is telling you that is either already rich or trying to get your money. Okay? Because money and happiness have nothing to do with one another. But these are the things that we've been programmed. Save your money, buy a house, get a higher education, borrow money to go to college. These concepts benefit banks, benefit the institutions. I think the educational system and the financial institutions are in bed together. Look at the black brown.
You may have never watched an episode of ManTFup before, but let me tell you,
is this where you guys
and
live
Lenny are reading out of the same book. Let me tell you.
I think the education system here is horrible. I mean, I basically stopped school in 7th grade. Stopped. They pushed me through.
Yeah, you kept going.
They pushed me through to 10th.
Yeah.
And then I was done. The minute I could take my GED, I was out.
Yeah.
And I didn't go back to college till I was 32. But the education system in this country is so wishy-washy.
Yeah.
And what they're teaching.
And you were going to school in the 80s.
Oh, yeah. No, I was here.
And
your office is.
Bro, it was broken in the 80s. That was 40 years ago, just the audience knows.
Yeah. Where your office was Thunderbolt Road. That's where all of the cocaine in the country came in. Was right there. This was a wild place in the 80s. I mean, I grew up, I was born and raised in Miami. So it was a wild place. It's changed so much.
You're the reason Miami has a bad reputation.
Yes.
Yes, and I appreciate it, and I'll keep it, and everybody else go home.
Grant's known you for 15 minutes.
His advertising back in the 80s was, Lenny's got your load. Get loaded with Lenny.
But the education system, I've told Kimmy 1,000 times, it's, what are you teaching the kids? You're not teaching them reality.
No.
You're teaching them, my kids fall down, and my son comes with a bloody nose. He's like, Dad, I had a bloody nose. I'm like, cool. Go wipe it off.
Yeah.
Go back to the court. Yeah, great. And that's the way I grew up.
Yeah.
I'm Gen X. We're Gen X. And it was a tougher time. And the school system is part of where we're going with this. and the food that.
Well, look,
people are fed.
we're short. Some people say we're short 300,000 teachers in America, but we're hiring IRS agents.
Yeah.
Like, what is wrong with this, man? Like, what American family is more concerned about the IRS than they are their kids getting educated?
Yeah.
We need teachers, number one. Number two, we need new curriculums. We took our kids out of the school system here because I'm like, I don't want them in this system, dude. It's too slow for them. It was too slow for me. All my problems started in school. That's where I got in trouble. I found the drugs.
Because you were
at school.
bored.
Huh?
Because you were bored.
Totally bored. So I was asked to sit in a little desk for 50 minutes, study a subject I did not pick. I think I did home ec. What am I doing home ec?
Wait, you don't sew, Grant? You're not a sewer. You didn't like your Easy Bake oven?
No, and I did a wood class. I did a driver's class. Those classes were the fun classes. The other class, I didn't even listen to them.
Well, I mean, we also started tracking students. Like that started, I think, back in like the late 70s or the early 80s, where you started dictating a child's potential when they were 5 or 6 years old. And we know now that's literally the worst thing you can do, because you have no idea how a child is going to learn best moving forward. And we think everybody learns the same, as opposed to actually letting kids find the things that they're excited about and intrigued by, and really giving them a path to further that. Imagine how many great engineers we would have if we let kids really get into robotics in first and second grade and didn't have to worry about taking home ec or.
And if you watch kids, like they're doing studies today that say a kid can watch a cartoon, play a game on his phone, know what mama's making in the kitchen, and completely duplicate the argument that went on with the husband and the wife, the mom and dad. And they contain all that information. But what do? We drop them into a classroom where they have to focus, and then we label them with some kind of ADD, ADHD. Then we medicate them, and then we the whole time we're teaching them a curriculum that has nothing to do with the world they're going to walk into. Yeah, which is, what if I could actually learn to convert people online, and I didn't need to add and subtract. You know, I remember when my dad, you grew up at the same time, said you need to never use a calculator, because you're not going to be able to bring your calculator with you everywhere. I can bring my map, my calculator, my recording device, my audio, my Instagram,
and all the information in the world.
Exactly.
You have at your fingertips.
None of this is taught in school today.
But to your point, in just giving out the stats of America, right, and 250 million of us living paycheck to paycheck and barely making it by, does the world really need 250 million more Grantee Cardones? Because I feel like we still do need, and I hate to call it, worker bees, but we need people that make the wheel turn, right? Like, especially when you look at this great country of ours. We are a country of opportunity, and people have done extraordinary things having come from nothing, right? And that's absolutely amazing. It's what the American dream is. But at the end of the day, not everybody needs to aspire to be the next Grant Cardone, Gary Vee, Tony Robbins, Lenny Novelli, Kimmy B. I'm not saying that they should or shouldn't, but at the end of the day, you still need people who are happy, living. But they need to be able to live.
Personally, I don't know how you guys live. I think everybody should strive to be me. I'm just telling you, I know my life. I know
But does the world work that way? Does the world continue working?
I don't know.
Who's going to make stuff? Are you going into a factory making cars?
I wouldn't worry about that. As long as I got money, somebody will make shit for me.
Yeah.
Okay. As long as I have influence, money, as long as I have the gold. Look, if you have the gold, you make the rules. And that has existed for thousands of years. It will never be violated. That is the rule. And I know people say it sounds terrible. I always looked at this game like, I want to have the gold. I want to make the rules. I'll find somebody that gave up on their dreams. Billions of people give up on their dreams every day. You're never going to you're not going to fix that shortage overnight. I would encourage everybody to become more like me, so that at least you get on the other side of this rainbow and say, oh, I know what it looks like over here. Because most people never even get.
Why?
Because people ask this question that you just asked, and that question is based on a give up. It's based on a surrender to the game. Okay. Should everybody play the game? Yeah, everybody should play the game. Should everybody learn backgammon? Yes, because you should learn backgammon because it's a cool game to play. Should everybody learn how to make money? Yeah, you should, because if you give up before you do it,
you'll never know.
You'll never know, man. And I'm telling you, money like just this concept, money won't make you happy. Where did that come from?
Lies and deception.
Who told you?
Lies and deception.
Yeah, because most people that say money won't make you happy don't have any money, or they're trying to get your money.
Yeah.
And I'm going to tell you, money has made me happier. As long as you get the right amount of it.
Yeah, I mean, everybody's got a different level, and I think this goes a lot to
She hates hearing what I'm saying. Even
No,
saying that.
Are you kidding me? I like private jets. I like, Cullinans. I like all of that too.
But how many people, Kimmy, say, I don't need that? You say, hey, man, how would you like to have your own Gulfstream 650 ER? You could fly from here to Seoul, Korea without stopping. Oh, I don't need all that. How you know, bro? You've never been on one.
Yeah.
Right? So most people are throwing the towel in. They're throwing. How would you like the second home in Mount? I don't need that. How do you know if you've never sat in it?
Yeah.
Grant, though, what people, and this is where I get afraid, and it's something that Lenny and I have talked about at length on this couch, is that seeing it on Instagram is very different than attaining it in real life. So as we talk about everybody aspiring to be more like you, I think there's probably one intrinsic thing that a lot of people don't have, and that's the grind, bro.
But I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna tell you, first of all, whatever you see me doing on Instagram, it's better in real life. So if you think it's good, what you see, I'm telling you, is fucking better in real life.
Yeah, but there's a lot of people, to Kimmy's point, there's a lot of people on there renting cars, flashing watch.
Oh.
There's a lot of posers on.
Well,
Grant, I didn't know about you when I found, because I found you before I knew Lenny. I followed you for a while on Instagram, and you popped up as this,
yeah, of course.
Sabrina, forgive me for calling your dad a silver fox, but a silver fox, dude, getting out of jets and stuff. I'm just, by the way, if you don't know, because she's behind the scenes, his boss of a 13?
Come on in here.
13-year-old daughter is in the studio, and she let it be known that she's running the show. She lent him to us for a few minutes today.
That's all I can afford. Is, we have a place to go, or money to make.
Money, yes. Time is money, honey. I love it.
But so you saw a silver fox, meaning what? What does that mean?
It's like the George Clooney, like the good-looking older gentleman getting off the private jet, stepping into, the 4-door, Rolls Royce, and literally the first thing out of your mouth was like, "So you like my Rolex?
You never called me that.
You like this?
Yeah.
You don't have a Rolls Royce. Like, you do have the silver fox thing going on.
Okay, all right,
but you didn't stop me in my tracks on Instagram. But I'm a person that I do this.
You have
for a
access
living.
to him.
I do. I do. I do this for a living. I'm a radio personality. I also do this. So I take everything I see on the gram with a large
And you should.
grain of salt.
You should.
But the more I listen to what you said, and then, the more you realize, okay, somebody that has 20 some odd books, many of them on the New York Times bestseller, has got to have something else to say. And I started to look at it as more of is this kind of like the pastor who goes into the strip club to meet people where they're at?
Yeah.
Are you meeting them where they're at?
Yeah,
Like, know that this
100%.
is what's going to...
I am that guy, by the way. If I was a pastor, I would meet them in the strip club. Okay, even though I've been in one strip club for 5 minutes my whole life. It's not my deal. But I would go into the community and like today, the people that I spend most of my time with, we were with 45 kids yesterday from Washington, D.C. that we had flown down, all black, 17 years old, never been on a plane, never been in a hotel room, and never been on a boat. They did all three of those things yesterday, and they
changed their
us,
lives.
Yeah, totally, because of not what we told them.
The experience.
But because they had an experience. You can't wash it off of you.
No.
Once you fly private, you're like, oh my God, I can't get rid of that. I can't get rid of it. Once I have real money, not a little bit of money. See, I think most people throw in the towel because they never have the experience of real money. Money that actually provides comfort and solutions and security. And we don't talk to people about that. It's not taught in schools. It's not encouraged in our system. The media doesn't play it. We vilify billionaires. When in truth, most of these people have to close the curtains on themselves because they're like, I can't get any more attention. I'm going to get hated. They're going to put me on a stake. They're going to burn me. They're going to steal my stuff. And then there's a handful of guys that are saying, no, I'm going to stay out here. I'm going to make it okay. And so my kids aren't spoiled. Money didn't spoil them, but that's what you hear about money. Okay? My kids are not in the school system. They're perfectly socialized.
Yeah, that's very important.
But if you say, if I'm a homeschool my kids, most parents are going to be like, where are they going to get their social skills from? How about the travel? How about
Yeah.
meeting other people? How about spending time with me today, meeting people, introducing themselves to people?
How about talking to actual adults who say intelligent things?
Amen.
Not
Rather
total,
than
like,
what?
Just random garbage. You know?
Yeah.
What they saw on TikTok.
Yeah, I think.
TikTok.
But
Yeah, what they. I like Sabrina. Sabrina's my kind of.
yes, but I think
girl.
I think the striving to be Grant is very important. But I think more than just that, a lot of people don't even strive to be the best version of what they're doing.
Yeah.
They don't want to be the manager. They don't want to own the McDonald's. They don't
agree.
want to. It's like, oh, I have to go to work today. It's like.
But Lenny, again, you see, like, when was work made to be a bad thing? It has happened
Yeah,
over the last
it's
30 or
happened.
40 years. The concept of a job just over broke. Somebody vilified work and jobs. And it's like everybody's like hating on everything that's good. They hate money. They hate success. They hate the job. They hate the work. Man, work, to me, work is it's the greatest gift God gave us.
Yeah.
Was not just a body, but the opportunity to do work, for me to get over here today, show up, meet you guys. You guys gave me an opportunity today to work, to do what I'm supposed to do. I didn't want to come. I'm like, God damn, I don't want to come. I get all grumpy, right? I don't want to come. They put me in the
Listen,
car. They stuff me in
Trust me, I was checking my phone every 10 minutes for the
For the
cancellation.
cancellation.
I mean,
Well, I'm glad that you didn't.
life get, but and I'm glad I did. I'm glad I came, right?
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm with you guys, but I'm glad you guys are working. That's what you're doing here.
Yeah.
Because if you weren't working, I wouldn't be here to work with you. And who knows, maybe one or two people get it. I'm not trying to save the whole world. I want the whole world to know my name. For the handful of people who are going to be like, I'm going to go get the bag, dog. Screw all these people telling me I got a problem. I ain't got a problem. I've been labeled ADD, ADHD, bipolar, freaking manic depression. I've been labeled all that bullshit. I ain't got none of those problems. I just always wanted to get rich. That's my disease.
I
want
relate
my
with you a lot.
freedom. I'm manning up for my freedom.
There you go.
I was telling Kimmy yesterday,
That's the sound bite.
I've spent my life working hard to give my kids what I want to give, to take care of my family. Now my kids are getting older. I don't have a big retirement thing, but I never stopped working, and I never wanted to.
You've
I've
got
done
to find a new reason now.
I've done a lot of real estate, and I always did it buy, flip, make 50, make 100,
Right.
just to take care of my family. They all went to private school, and I gave up on things for that. And now I'm at a point in my life where I want to be Grant Cardone.
Yeah.
So
How old are you?
I'm 55.
I hope I look as good as you when I'm your age.
Thanks.
Checked it out, dog.
But and I try to instill on my kids, hey, whatever you're doing, I don't care what it is, you might hate it.
Yeah.
Do it the best
Yeah.
you can,
Yeah. I agree.
and you'll feel better at the end of it.
Yeah.
Because no matter what it is.
Especially the stuff that you don't like to do.
Yes.
Like if somebody could figure out how to be great at the stuff you don't like to do,
Yeah.
dude, you're going to be a star at things you do like to do.
Yes. Oh, make that a clip, because I want to show that to Nick.
My first job, the first job that I was successful at was being a salesperson. I had lost 7 jobs before that. I hated sales. Now, I know you look at me today, you're like, oh, that guy he can talk to anybody. I hated it. I was uncomfortable. I didn't like talking to people. I didn't know how to break. Still today, if I go into a party, it's very awkward for me. But I forced myself, right? And so I hated this job. And I'm like, I'm going to learn how to be great at this. I can't go get another job. I didn't have an 8th job in me. And I literally learned how to be great at something I hated. I wasn't great in the beginning, but when I got good, I'm like, I like this. This is fun because I was winning. Like if you're not a good dancer, you're going to hate dancing.
Yeah.
Until you learn how to dance.
Yeah. How does it make that barista at Starbucks feel when somebody says to their manager, this girl is the best barista I've ever had?
Right.
Yeah.
And that's that,
We don't say that much, do we?
Well, you guys are in
we
Aventura.
we have a problem with I have this special.
It's painful because I'm the one that always has to go in and deal with the drinks made wrong. We have this very special drink. 4 shots of espresso filled all the way to the top with super
venti
dry
cup in a venti
foam.
cup.
And he always orders it because if you order it the different way, you have to pay like $3 extra. So he always
No,
orders
I
this.
order it because they want to make me a cappuccino. I don't want a cappuccino. I want 4 shots with foam only.
No milk.
No milk in it at all.
Just the foam.
And they're like, well, that's a cappuccino. I said, no, cappuccino has milk in it. I don't want to argue with you. I ordered it on the mobile device, 4 shots espresso in a venti cup, the largest cup, and then just foam. And they're like, we need to charge you for more foam. I'm like, look, I don't want to argue with you guys. You can charge me $7,000 if you want to. I just want the right drink. And they always mess it up. So I can never say that about the barista.
But
when they
if
do make
one
it
gets
When they
serious,
do, yeah.
When you do make it right, it makes us feel great.
yeah.
But we don't tell you.
But we don't necessarily leave a comment because time is money.
Yeah. But if those people would take that level up, I want to be the best.
Totally. Whatever.
I want to be Grant Cardone. I want to be the best at what I
version
do.
of myself.
Yes.
The
I wanna-
sweeper, the whatever.
whoever it is. And I've met a
tell you,
lot of people in my life that are that way.
This guy that drove me over here today, okay, he works with us, and his name's Fed.
awesome.
Where's Fed from?
Fed is from Haiti.
Yeah. This guy,
Incredible people.
phenomenal. Okay, he's a security guy. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
but you know what? When he's not, when I'm not there there to worry about us or whatever, he's going to grab a rake and fix the beach. Like, it doesn't matter where he is. He always looks for something else to do. He's an exception to the rule, and it is the exception that ends up with all the glory.
Absolutely.
I want to ask you this because you were able to overcome incredible hardships. You talk about being an addict, coming back from it. There was a clip you posted, I don't know how long ago, where you talk about everybody just being disappointed in you. You hated yourself. Like, I mean, it sounded
Thank you
like
for
a
saying that.
horrible experience.
It was terrible.
And unfortunately the clip ended before you actually got to the why part of what, all of that. I didn't know the whole backstory behind it, so it makes a little bit more sense now.
Yeah.
But with that being said, how do you change your mindset? Like, how do you get to this place where
through activity, through the trying and the doing, and do it again and again. Like, most of that circle you have up there is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the 7 steps are doing. Like, the only way to build confidence, this is why I have a problem with the whole Tony thing. You know, this rah rah la la, everybody get excited, rub your buddy. I don't want to rub anybody. Like that's not my deal. I don't want to sit in a room and jump up and down. It's not my deal. I don't need motivation. I need action. Real action in the real world. Not in some coliseum or convention center where I'm rallying my cheerleader. That's not what I need. I need activity. I need to pick up the phone. I need to call somebody. I need rejection, disappointment, discouragement, rejection, disappointment, discouragement. Like, I need to keep moving through that, showing up. So, like, I'm not into the law of attraction or, that whole thing is, I believe in the mental thing, but the law of action is the only thing that creates confidence.
Yeah.
And my confidence doesn't give her confidence. She's got to get her own confidence. My money does not get her confidence. In fact, it could actually dilute. My success could actually, suppress her sense of self in comparison to who I am. So she's going to have to become her own person. And so I never tried to be Warren Buffett or, and I'm not, right? And I can't be, but I could study Warren. Okay, hey, how did that guy bank so much money? Almost never lose. Like, what is he doing that I can take and layer over? So my life really changed when I quit studying my peers and my neighborhood and went way up the food chain.
Yeah.
So do you believe in that never be the smartest person in your group? Like, if you keep your circle small, always have people that you can aspire to be like or learn things from or that can help you up. Because if you're always the person at the top of the food chain,
100%.
you're the one pulling
You
everybody
need to
up.
get in rooms where you're pulled up, but you also need to be in rooms. Somebody's got to be the smartest person in the room. Somebody's got to be the strongest. Somebody's got to be the badass in the room. There's got to be somebody that's the most fierce person,
And
smartest.
In my case, that's me.
There you go. Sabrina.
I like
That's
it.
that 10x kids life right there.
So somebody in the room's got to be the king.
Yeah.
Now, that doesn't mean the king doesn't need to go spend time with other people that have more kingship or queenship or
Princeship.
Yeah.
I want to get in new rooms. Like, I just got today, some guy sent me, I own 12,000 apartments. He owns 100,000. I like
Motivation.
Yeah.
that. Okay, I'm like, okay, I want to collaborate with him. Okay, I don't really want to compete with him. I'd rather collaborate because he'll lift me. So he texts me and says, bro, why are me and you getting hated by this other guy? Well, I just moved into another audience that I didn't have. So this other guy, I'm not going to mention his name, but he owns, I don't know, $14 billion worth of real estate. I'm at about 5. He tagged me and this other guy. Who's giving more money to? I dare one of these guys give more money to charity this year than I have, including Grant Cardone and this other person. I'm like, I didn't even know this other cat knew me. So sometimes when you get in the rooms, when you start breaching the new rooms, it comes with criticism and hate, competition, fear. But that's what it takes to get in those rooms.
Well,
like,
my favorite thing is when somebody tells me you can't do that.
yeah.
That's my favorite. That's my favorite thing. What are you, crazy? No.
Well, like
I'm going to get it done.
and you said it, I think, in that book, Obsessed or Be Average, when you talk about the haters, like, let your haters be your biggest advocates. Because if your name is in their mouths, then they're talking about you to other people. But there's also a level where you can find folks that start misconstruing constructive criticism for hate.
Yeah,
too.
100%.
Do you know what I'm saying? Where it's like you just don't want to hear the feedback
I agree with that.
that I'm giving you.
Yeah.
And I think that that's kind of what this Instagram space
Yeah.
has created in a lot of people who see folks like Grant, see folks like Gary, see people doing the things that they think they aspire to do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And then when they get a little pushback or they get somebody saying like, okay, well, this man works 23 hours and 59 minutes of the day.
Right.
And in that 60 seconds that he's resting his eyes,
Yeah.
he's dreaming about something else. He's dreaming about what's coming next.
Right.
You know, so when you start pointing out like, okay, but what have you done? Right?
Right.
What have you done to get yourself one step closer to being the next Grant Cardone? Oh, well, you're hating. No, I'm just pointing out the fact that
But let me just say that anybody that's running that circle right there, if 5 of the 7 things you're doing is doing, hating probably ain't one of them.
Sabrina, let me ask you a question. You're looking at this, and I feel like she's going to be very honest. So think, idea, try, do again, keep doing. Your dad is a trier and a doer, correct?
No, he doesn't try. He does.
He just does. Okay, so he's just a doer. Facts.
Just do it.
You said you don't miss being in, I don't want to call it juvenile conversation, but you enjoy being around good adult conversation, right?
Yeah.
Conversation of substance. How many people do you think are actually doing this thing that's on the wall that your dad is so kind of like impressed by? How many people do you really think go through those steps and keep doing and are willing to get up the way your dad did or the way Lenny did?
You know, I think a lot of people get to like the try and the do step, and it kind of falls off. You know, they get their idea, they think about something. You know, they're dreaming, they have a dream about this vision. And then they try it, you know, it doesn't go that well. You know, 2 months, they have a year, a little business, it fails. And then they're just like, whatever. And so
Sounds like your journal. Your book.
They didn't continue it all the way to the success step.
Yeah. And I think that that's the point, Grant, is how do you motivate? That I think is the biggest fear. And Len and I keep coming back to that repeatedly. And we talk about future generations and just this idea because there's so much instant gratification and you find yourself out. Like people will joke about the TikTok thing, right? Oh, I went down the rabbit hole. I was there. One video turned into 3 hours.
Right.
It's whatever you're looking at. So if I love private jets and nice watches and traveling to Europe and having excursions, I can sit there and see 3 hours of that on my feed.
Right.
But that is 3 hours wasted not going out and trying and doing again and keep doing.
I for me, what happened for me between the think idea and the try was I have a threat factor from 4 o'clock to midnight on that clock. At the clock, from 4 o'clock till midnight, I have a threat factor that most people don't have. That I have completely dismissed the middle class as a place that I want to stay or settle. I don't even want to be rich. Like, I'm going to bring this money thing up, and it's going to just agitate your audience. Your audience is going to be like, I hate this guy talking about money like that. And the reason people hate this money idea is because you quit on it. Because it's like quitting on. If I talk to you about weight and you quit on the diet over and over and over again, and you're like, fuck it, I'm gonna be fat forever. You hate anybody bringing it up because you quit on it. Anything you hate on, you quit on. If you hate on successful people, it's because you quit on success. It's got nothing to do with me. There's no reason for anybody to hate what I'm saying, except that what I'm saying is the shoe fits because you quit on it. You know, so what I did was I put between 4 o'clock and midnight. I cannot do what my parents did. My parents did good. By their grandparents' standards, they did great. But in the real world, when my dad died at 10, my mom was selling the house on Monday. That ain't great. That is not abundance. It's not prosperity. It's not freedom. And so for me at 10 years old, the Band-Aid of mythology about the middle class was ripped off of my I'm like, that's not where I want to be. We were firmly in the middle class.
Yep.
And when my dad died, the middle class was erased.
Yeah,
That's happening
overnight.
right now in America at a rate faster than we have ever experienced. More people will fall out of the middle class into poverty this year than has happened in the last 3 decades.
Well, the disparity is incredible.
Yeah.
Incredible. Like, I mean, and you're talking about just a ridiculous gap also of what defines the middle class in America right now. Like, this it's from 40 grand to 250. And you're like, how is that even in the same realm? And on another podcast, somebody did mention the difference too. And it goes back, I think, to what you're saying with how you're brought up. And I hate to use this word, but indoctrination, the difference between a high earner and actual wealth.
Yes.
Right? And you have a lot of people that make a very good wage. They're making good money, and they're confusing that with actual wealth.
The middle class and rich people want to earn money. Wealthy people have no interest in earning money. They're earning assets. They're collecting assets. You know, so I didn't know that the first 45 years of my life. I didn't know that until I'm like, okay, how are people actually getting wealthy? Because work is not a path to wealth. Investing is the only path on this planet to wealth building. And there's a tremendous amount of difference between wealth and rich. Rich is I have money. Rich is I earn some money. Rich is I'm buying Gucci and I can spend my money. I'm buying a Mercedes and stuff. Wealthy people are like, dude, I'm so far over that. I own a piece of Mercedes. I own a piece of the Gucci.
Yeah.
Every time you buy a Gucci, I get paid
I get a
something.
piece of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I own assets. I don't own my house. Wealthy people are not interested in owning homes. They're interested in owning real estate that pays for their homes. And so it's just a different think level, even though it's in the same laboratory.
So is that why we started 10X Kids?
Yes, 100%, you know.
Well, because like you said, you didn't know this until you're 45.
Yeah.
So the first 45 years of your life, you were not aware of this. You know, I grew up in the Northeast, in the Cape Cod area. So I grew up around
it.
a lot of very wealthy, you know, old school, blue-blooded money. That was not my family, but I grew up around it. And it's funny because my grandfather used to always say, we were in retail, we were in the liquor business, and he'd be like, don't ever judge a book by its cover. He said, because people with real money, half the time you never know, like in that particular
they went into
sphere. Yeah, you know, like, and then they might walk out and they're driving. This was before Rolls Royces were everywhere.
Right.
It was a woman driving, you know, a vintage Rolls herself with her little straw hat on, and she would come in and buy $100,000 in wine and just be like, you can deliver it to the house, like, and the sweetest woman ever. But she was like an Astor, you know, like Titanic money. But we're not educating our kids. And you see more people talking about it now, financial literacy. But it's like, I'm looking at Sabrina, and it's like, all I can think is, here's a young woman, and I'm sorry to take the attention off of you. I know you don't care.
Totally fine.
But like, I would love to see what she's going to, like, the amount of knowledge she could bestow upon her peers just because of her platform, the cool experiences that, you know, being your daughter afford her.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And if she's able to kind of,
Parlay that.
yeah, you know, flip that in the right way, she could truly impact hundreds of thousands of young people just by sharing the things that you instill in her in the car on the way to podcast.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
And so, like, I have this platform called Cardone University. We've had almost 100 million people log in, pay for it to log in, and use it for sales, marketing, social media marketing. All the things that I've done successfully in my career, we laid on video. It was for adults and corporations. What you want to tell them what you're doing with that right now?
Yeah, so we're taking it over. The kids are taking it over. We're going to give it to a bunch of kids to make 3 to 5 videos, taking their take, putting their examples on the videos that he made. So taking the basic information from the videos and putting it into a kid format. So we're going to have 10X Kids University, where kids are going to get to learn about these things.
Kids are going to learn from kids.
I love that.
Because what the education system did is I had to go listen to this old lady. That was the first block to education. I learned more from my peers more easily. Hey, what do you know? What do you know? Like, I don't even know I'm learning. I'm just duplicating and copying kids, right? So what we're going to do is we're going to take this format, and this is 9,000 segments of content, everything from money to motivation to leadership to how to get it, how to keep it, how to multiply it, how to invest in real estate, how to sell something, follow up somebody, greet somebody, communicate, how to put a speech together, how to convert somebody online, all the stuff they don't teach in school. All these great shit that like, oh my God, you'd be a completely different person and you'd have been engaged. And I'm going to have a 13-year-old Sabrina do it, and then an 8-year-old, and then a black boy and a black girl, a 18-year-old Latino, and because all those people need to see their
It's representation.
Exactly.
Representation is so important. And then on top of it, putting it in language. It's funny. I love watching Cardi B. I know you're familiar. Talk about politics. I used to be the biggest hater of Cardi B, and then I actually read an article, and she's brilliant when it comes to politics, American history. Like, she could go toe to toe with any historian, but she puts it in her Cardi B speak, and I'm like, she actually does more for people who don't want to watch talking heads and politicos spit jargon at them that they don't understand. She breaks down the welfare system. She breaks down taxes and tax brackets and the IRS in a way that people are like, oh shit, I learned more in a 60-second Instagram video about taxes from Cardi B than I've ever learned in, an entire adulthood of going to TurboTax or whatever. You know what I'm saying? And so it's invaluable.
Offset's a big fan of mine, by the way.
There you go.
I pulled into the Ritz-Carlton in Bal Harbor, and Offset's what up, man?
But again, meeting people where they're at, and you actually, Lenny said that because I was not trying to drag you, but I was like, I have a bit of an issue with all the people that are kind of in this saturating this space of like, oh, start this course, buy this course, do this, do that. I can change your life. And they're using cars that are probably rented. They're
100.
using jet, and they're selling a dream to a very vulnerable, susceptible
100%.
Group of people who are looking for an out, who are so enamored with a lifestyle that they're being fed consciously by an algorithm that is basically inside of our brain, right? And I feel like to a degree it's taking advantage, right? But if you read the books or you actually walk away with something that you can turn into a tangible kind of course of action, that's a different situation. You know what I mean? So when you see an Offset, again, when you meet them where you're at or where they're at, now I'm more inclined to actually listen to what your message is. And you actually have something to say, unlike a lot of people in that space. Do you know what I'm saying? Like,
but let me just say, like, because I know there's a lot of scamming going on out there. Like, when people want help, when people want help, they can be hurt. And I know there's scammers out there. It's very easy to find out, though. Like, it's not hard to figure out who's scamming who.
But you're not, my whole thing is your whole message is it takes hard work. And that's what I think I love the most. At the end of the day, you're not trying to make it seem like, read my book and you're going to be in a private jet tomorrow. Like, there's nothing about that.
I might make it sound like that, though.
But I don't think
I
so.
have to get people's attention, right? You got to understand, like you talked about the TikTok. You're 3 hours later. You've looked at animals, you're like
squirrel.
You can't even talk about some of the stuff you watched in there twice and 3 times. You're like, oh, why am I watching this? That was weird.
Saved it, sent it to a few people. Yeah,
exactly.
Sure.
So I have to crack to all that.
Yeah.
Like, I have to stop you.
Yes.
In a world that is,
you have 30 seconds.
Well, and you do
now 15
maybe
seconds.
3, maybe.
But that's where I'm saying I'm tipping my hat to you because I've been stopped by a lot of people, right? Like there's I'm in this space. American bookshelves are filled with motivational, get rich quick, you can do it too. Books, right? Like, we know this. This is nothing. This is not a new space.
No, that's right. How does the cover stop you? I got to get my cover's got to stop you. If I'm in, Barnes and Noble, that probably won't exist. How do I stop you for that book cover? And so that book cover has to do something. So in defense of the guy out there that is a good guy. I think the first impression is one thing, but the viewer needs to just do a little research.
Yeah.
Hey, what has he done? How many employees does he have? What's his?
You're asking a lot, though, Grant.
What's his payroll?
Yeah.
That's the and a lot of these people are the working class that want to, rise up. They want to do something different. They have this job, but they just want a shortcut. They want a shortcut. They want that diet They want that diet that's going to make them lose 20 pounds in 3 days.
And don't realize they're going to gain 60 back when they go off of it.
I was hitting one day intermittent. I'm trying to get rid of 10 pounds right now. And I got hit with this. I thought about it, and the next thing I got hit with it.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, fuck that. There it is.
They are. The FBI.
I almost signed up because they said in 30 days I could hit my target weight. I was like,
That sounded good to you.
And I'm like, I'm going to hit it. And then I didn't have my credit card. So it's still in my cart. I'm
Thank
waiting
God.
to get it. But
Do you not have Apple Pay?
I just don't know how to use it. That's all I got. But you know, hey, I do need hope. I do need hope, and I need it to be a short period of time. Now I'm in a space. I'm in a position where I could waste $60, right? Most people out there can't waste it.
Yeah.
So they just need to do their due diligence and just find out.
Yeah, and
for instance, the first time like I really got crushed on these idols was when I found out what Rich Dad Poor Dad didn't actually happen. I don't know if y'all knew that. You didn't know it, did you? You're crushed.
Wow.
Do you know how many people have quoted Rich Dad, Poor Dad to me?
That was a parable. He didn't have a rich dad or a poor dad. That was complete.
What about Move My Cheese?
I don't know about that one.
Okay. I was the rat with the cheese, but okay.
like the 4-hour work week. Okay. When I read, which is a massive. Tim Ferriss hates me even bringing this up. Somebody introduced me to the book. I'm like, I don't want to work 4 hours a week, bro. That's stupid. Why would I want to work 4 hours a week when I have 168 hours I could work? I want to work 16,000 hours a week. I love work.
Well,
I'm not trying to get out of work.
Can you say that one more time? For all the people out there talking about burnout is real.
Burnout is burnout.
I love Sabrina.
It's an excuse.
Burnout is for those people who have quit. Burnout is not a real thing. It's you're tired of winning.
Wait a second.
I know people that win at the same game over and over and over again. They finally burn out on the space.
Yeah.
Okay, they're like, I'm done. I don't want to play this game anymore.
But normally they find something else. They
gotta-
redirect that energy to
You
something
have to
else.
find something else.
Yeah.
I have that in pool playing.
You're just too good. at it.
Kids have it in games. Kids playing games. You'll see them play 4 or 5 hours a game, and they start getting like they were having a blast, and then you cross a point where you're like, you're still playing the game, but you're burnt out on it.
Yeah.
Because you're not being pushed again. That's why those levels keep them so junked out on the game. In business and in life, there's not a lot of levels, and so once you do the same thing over and over again, or you're doing something you can't win at, you'll have the experience of burnout.
Yeah.
Because I can't win. And I think most of America is burnt out because they can't get ahead.
That's a clip right there. I think most of America is burnt out because they can't get ahead. But you know what happens when that happens?
Yes.
You do
Groundhog.
again.
That's
and again,
Groundhog Day.
And you keep
I love that, dude.
you keep doing
That's-
well, or you pivot, right? You pivot and you find something else. I had to step back one time because I was like, that's saying do what you love and you'll never work a day of your life, right? And then I had to realize, unfortunately, some people will never find that thing that they love to actually experience why you love working so much, right? Why Lenny loves working so much. Like people who really do, like you're touching lives, you're changing lives, you're making money, you're having these experiences, you're winning, and you're winning in so many different ways.
Right.
But prior to you getting to this space, right? Like you said, you hated sales and whatever until you find that thing inside of you, and you have to keep going. But that's the try, do again and again. Try something else. Like
I think people find their passion in the activity of do it again. You don't really know what your passion is, and most people don't have passion because you're just not winning enough. There's no score. There's like you're not gonna. You will not be able to keep your passion if you're winning in a space where you can't get paid. It is impossible for somebody that's broke to stay passionate without being a psychological wreck. If you're happy and broke, you're mentally you're mentally unstable.
Yeah.
So what are you saying about our I'm just kidding. I was about to say our poor teachers out here who make $40,000 a year.
It's not only are they underpaid, they're underappreciated.
Undervalued.
They can get no control of the classroom.
Yeah.
Like we have the highest departure of teachers ever.
Crazy.
Because they're like, look, I can't even put discipline into the classroom.
Yeah, we just went over that whole, with everything that's going on in the classroom. I'm like, look, I want my teachers to be able to discipline my kids.
Yeah.
I don't go sit in the corner. write on the board 1,000 times, I will not do this again.
Right.
There's nothing wrong with a teacher doing that. That's what
But
they.
that'll never be approved today.
No, but that's that's one of the big breaks besides the curriculum is that our kids have no structure anymore with school.
Yeah.
They used to, when I went to school, you go, you have this, you have PE, you have this, you blow off a little steam. If you
Get in a fight,
flirt
with the girl.
if you did something wrong, you got punished.
Yeah.
That's gone. If you didn't win the spelling bee, you didn't get a trophy.
Right.
That's gone. Where is the push to achieve that better? Where is the push to be that better person if you can't get it in school?
Well, that's what
It's not at the company level. It's not in corporations. Like everybody's bought into this thing.
Well, like you said,
Yeah.
and if you don't have parents that teach you to aspire to more, if you don't have a parent or somebody at home that is, instilling in you that this box doesn't really exist, the box that they would like for you to be in
Right.
is not real, then you end up just being another lemming running to the whatever that is, a cliff, right? The lemmings that run.
Yeah, and you're going to go work for a company that has a ping pong table and a free food at lunch and all these swing set, and you get to hang out. It's not real, man.
And nobody bothers you, and nobody says anything bad.
Shots fired at the tech world. I
get to
see
take a
it.
nap at 2 o'clock. Hey, we're going to pay you $250,000 a year, but you're still not going to have any money left over because your rent's going to be like $8,000 a month. So you're still not going to get rich, even though you got money.
That's facts.
That's fact.
What do you say though to the people that watch your videos, right? Because you're at that place. You're at that place of wealth, right? Where they're like, you don't get it.
Yeah.
You're so far removed. You don't know what we're going through. Like Sabrina probably, I don't want to say sees it herself, but depending on who she follows on TikTok or Instagram or watching the comments, there's a very pervasive woe is me attitude taking over young people.
Yeah.
Like, the boomers don't get it. It was different when they were growing up, and Gen X, and excuse my language, and and times are different, and rent is $8,000, and education is this, and then they're looking at you going, and Grant, you're sitting there in your private jet and your Bentley truck, or your Rolls Royce truck, and your kids aren't in school, and your wife is out there making more money than you. Sorry, I love your wife.
If my wife ever
Your wife is a rock star.
If she ever makes more money than I do, I'm gonna tell you,
Listen,
we're gonna have a party.
Listen, buddy, I think she's
go.
on her way.
Buy the dinner.
But what do you say to them?
Yeah, look, man, don't hate on me, man. I don't know why you're spending all this energy talking about me not understanding. Clearly, I understood enough to get me where I'm at, and I just took the time to give you $1 billion worth of game for free, and you don't want it. Mm-hmm. So you don't need to puke it back at me. Like, you can't puke up the tree. It's going to fall back on your face. Like, you puke in the wrong direction.
And
so, like, you don't have to take it. Like, you don't even, like, I love the comment. At least I got your attention.
But that I think is part of the problem. And that was why I was excited when you were coming in. And I think that was why Lem was excited when you were coming in, is because unfortunately that seems to be the space that we're at, is like, how many people have the guts, the gusto, the drive, the determination, the resilience to keep on doing again. Like I said, you can lead a horse to water.
Yeah.
But you can't make him drink.
Oh,
you can
make
give
him
him
drink. You can make him.
Oh, can you?
Oh, you goddamn right you can.
Okay.
You load him up with salt in his diet. He'll drink.
He'll drink everything.
He'll drink everything.
They've been doing it to us for years.
Yeah, exactly. And that's what we need to do with people today.
Yeah.
If you want people to move around that wheel right there, okay, I'm gonna make this wheel famous for you.
You know what I'm saying?
So if you want to just, you got to tell them the truth. And the truth is this.
Ooh.
If you settle for anything that sounds like the middle class, you are going to be susceptible to always being weaponized, taken advantage of, abused, oppressed, suppressed. The middle class is not what you were told it was. All you got to do is look back over the last 30 or 40 years. The middle class is the most oppressed group of people in America. It is not poverty. It is the middle. You're going to pay the most taxes. You're going to have the least amount of freedom. You're always going to have the most amount of debt. Bad debt, by the way, not good debt. And wealthy people are going to benefit from those that settle for the middle.
So how do we exist as a nation without a middle class? How do we exist if you're only a have or a have not?
Well, that's what you have right now. So all I'm going to do is improve those that want to have rather than have not. Because right now the middle are have nots.
Can we get to a
And
place
they
where we all have?
misidentified themselves. They're like, I have two. I got two cars. I got a house paid for. I got a picket fence. My kid's got a good education. You ain't got, dude. You're one more inflation cycle from having nothing.
Yes.
Boom.
I think everybody in this country, I think everybody in the world could do that. And it boils down to whether you have to or not.
Yes.
You know,
The middle doesn't have to because it's under the illusion that I'm good when you're not
that I'm
good.
chilling.
Yeah.
I've got the American dream: the house, the picket fence,
And
food on the table.
who defined the American dream? Was somebody else.
Yes.
Those are politicians that are telling you you're secure. We have the wealthiest, best middle class in planet Earth. We're better than every other country. Most of these people saying this have never been to another country.
The middle class is like.
Let's run for
Yeah,
president.
listen to this. Listen to this.
The middle class is like when you have the desert and the air is so hot that it's reflecting off the sand to make it look like there's water.
Like the mirage.
Yeah, the mirage.
That's
And then what do you say
mirage.
about middle class? Remember
Oh yeah.
the definition of the middle class?
The definition of the middle class. I created this, by the way. Middle class
She defined this.
is poor people who think they're rich.
They identify themselves as well-to-do, rich. I got it better than others, but they're actually poor and don't know it.
Mm-hmm.
Which are even more at risk because the poor person, when I was poor, I knew I was poor. There was no fooling. When I had my first $1 million, I became confused. I'm like, I'm good, man, I'm good. And then 2008 came along and took everything. And I deceived myself by what it appeared that I had accumulated.
Yeah, I'm a licensed general contractor,
Yeah.
and 2008
Had to crush it.
we had 11 projects going.
Yeah.
In 2008, you know, all 36 unit, 11
Excited
unit.
about them.
They were all going. They were all great. You know, boom,
Boom.
hammer dropped. That's what it
So
changed. my
you
whole-
went from I have 11 projects going to I have 11 projects going.
Yeah, I mean, I
down the
fought with the
tubes.
banks for years.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, it was a whole. We lost everything,
Yeah.
but I continued to get up
Yeah.
the next day.
You did again.
and work.
If you'd,
again.
have had 1,100 projects going in 2008, they'd have helped you.
Probably.
That's what I learned from 2008.
Well, it
Probably.
seems like you were one of those incredible because you talked about real estate and
Yeah.
you've done it in the past
10 years.
10 years.
In 2010, I begged every one of my friends,
Yeah.
every one of
Buy
them,
now.
all these guys with 850 credit scores. I'm like, but look, 15,000 a door, 20,000 a door.
Oh, my God.
Buy. 2010, you could buy anything in South Florida,
Especially down here.
for 40,000 a door.
He knows
max.
because he's been
Yeah, but I'm talking about 2010 because you couldn't get
I
money.
bought 1,000 units, 1,100 units.
Yeah,
So, I mean, I saw it. I saw it. I was
Yeah.
in, where was I living then? Los Angeles. We came all the way across the country to start accumulating assets in that same year.
yeah. It was, you know,
And we're going to enter that now. The last quarter of this year, I know you guys are trying to bank out of this thing, but the last quarter of this year and the first 3 quarters of next year will be, I believe, the biggest real estate opportunity of my career.
yeah. I see it. I see it. The economy, and people don't even understand the economy. You know, you can't have high fuel prices and high spending, and it just doesn't. This is not normal. It's the whole entire economy across the board is not
But
normal.
you know, it's so crazy. There's a headline. If I Google your name right now, there's a headline that comes up that says Grant Cardone says, "Don't buy a house
Yeah.
unless you want to waste money."
Yeah.
But then on the flip side, you're sitting in this chair right here in the ManTFup man cave, and you're saying this is about to be one of the biggest real estate windfalls of our
Yeah,
lifetime.
I still wouldn't buy a house.
But do you understand? But to the middle class person,
Yeah.
to the poor person who thinks they've made it,
Yeah.
they're not understanding what you're saying. And Sabrina, I want you to understand. I was quiet when you said what you said because it's such a heavy weight
Yeah.
to think about,
You let it
right?
breathe.
Well, because it's what we've been banged on. We've been told our entire life and in modernity that the U.S. is the best because we have a successful middle class. It's what we ride on, right?
right.
Because it's the largest portion of our population.
Yeah.
I mean, I still think the U.S. is better than China, though. Don't get
The best country. I mean, that's a non-negotiable.
And the thing
but
that makes America great is not the money here; it is the opportunity.
opportunity.
It's not really
Facts.
the money, you know.
Facts. But I love the fact that you just said it's about to be the biggest real estate opportunity, but somebody's going to see that headline. Well, Grant Cardone said don't buy a house. And it's like, I'm talking about two
I've
different
been saying
things.
for a long time. I told everybody to sell their homes last year. I said,
I saw your video on Malibu. I know I've been telling you guys,
I bought a house in Malibu, okay?
Yeah.
But people are like, well, why'd you buy a house you're telling us not to? That's a $40 million house that I stole. I stole the house,
Sorry.
okay? I'm also in a different position.
Yeah.
Like I'm telling people in the come up, don't go buy a house on the come up. You're trying to accumulate wealth. You don't go buy a house, a single house.
buy a duplex.
Well, and
buy a
he was-
fourplex.
Yeah, exactly.
You were
buy
talking-
something that'll get you income.
Talking about Texas, you were talking about Florida, you were talking about Alabama, I think, on a recent either podcast or something else that you were on. And it's funny, I said to Len, I was like, something tells me Grant still has property in California and New York, just because of the value of property.
I don't have anything in New York.
Nothing.
I sold everything I had in California.
Okay.
I just bought this house in Malibu that came up out of nowhere, just popped up. I'd actually been tracking it for like 2 years. And I was last week out shopping in Los Angeles and San Diego for apartment buildings. Doesn't mean I'll do it, but the problem in California is not prices. The problem in California is collecting your rents. You know, so you can't. It's very difficult to even collect rents there.
Oh, it's not a landlord-friendly state.
No.
That was the other thing you were talking about.
Florida is very landlord friendly.
Yeah. Florida's friendly in a lot of ways.
You know, I mean, I can kick my family out of the property. I just call Ron up and say, Ron, I'm kicking my daughter out of the property. Yeah, we'll do whatever you want to do, man.
Something tells me you'll end up being
why I love
kicking
Florida.
you out.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, she gives me those vibes. Last thing, you know, you've made it clear that it's never too late. Because you talked about not knowing certain things until you're 45 and you're still where you're at.
Yeah.
What's left?
Oh, man, there's so much left. Oh, my God. I feel
Look
like
at his face when you ask him that, though.
Oh, my God, there's so much left. I mean, this is the first. I'm more excited now than ever. And this is why I tell people, like, how would you know how much excitement is possible in life if you haven't had the victories? Like, I hear all these guys get online and pull people's heartstrings. Oh, I learned more from my failures. Like, fuck you, dude. I don't want to learn from my failures. You can't duplicate failures. Oh, I failed. I went
If you can,
bankrupt.
you
Okay,
should.
let's do it again. I don't want to do that again. How about
How'd
I
you learn?
won
Yeah.
and I can duplicate winning? I want to duplicate winning. And so, you know, this idea that money won't make you happy, you know, people saying that. Steve Jobs said it. He was already rich.
Yeah. And he was also...
And he was already unhappy.
Yeah, and he was an interesting individual in many ways. Brilliant and genius.
Yeah.
But
And so, I mean, why can't I have both of them? And so, like, I'm not pulling those strings from people. I'm telling people, look, I am happier now than I've ever been. Doesn't mean life is perfect. I have problems every day that they're just a different level of problems, by the way. I want more problems. I don't want less problems. There's no way to get out of the problem game unless you die.
And you want to die.
No.
She don't want me to die either.
no,
We won't-
definitely not.
So I am super excited about it. I want to take my real estate portfolio to 100,000 units. That's 8 times. That'll put me in the top 3 or 4 landowners.
Let's stick with 10. 10 times. We want 10 times.
Okay. 120.
Come on.
There you go. There you go.
You know, I paid out
Thanks for watching
$3.8 million this week to our investors. I want to pay out 30 to 40 or $50 million every month. I'm the only person in the country that's paying our investors back every single month. People depend on that money. I don't get money from wealthy families. I get money from you.
Yeah.
People like me, like us, like people in this room. And I'm like, I let people invest with me in institutional quality assets that the biggest institutions in the world own. And they never give anybody access.
I mean, you're in a position now, and from
I
what
can make a difference now.
From what I see,
I couldn't before
you're
this.
paying it forward. You're
exactly.
you're not one of those people that, hey, I'm a billionaire, I'm running and hiding. You're out there and you're giving back, and hopefully you're going to 10x your portfolfolio, but you're going to bring a lot of people along with you.
I was having dinner with a guy at the horse races, the Kentucky Derby, and he's worth, I don't know, $8 billion. He's like, I don't understand. Why do you show off your plane to the world? I said, I don't understand why you don't show off your planes to the world. He's like, what do you mean? I'm like, bro, the only thing you do is show off your shit to people that already have money.
Yeah.
Like your horses.
Yeah, like you're
Better.
competing.
His wife was wearing one of these
The Hope Diamond.
carriage. It was a carriage. I bet you it was $1 million on her neck, maybe $5 million. I don't even know. I was
I'm
like,
sure.
I couldn't look at her because I had to look at that, right? And I'm like, why do you show your shit off only to people that already have shit? Like to me, I'm not bragging or I'm
Motivating?
like, hey guys, this is real. That is real. I accumulated that because of discipline, hard work, and some money moves that I made.
Does he come from money? Just
That guy, he had a little bit of a start, better start than I did, but almost
well,
everybody.
no. I mean, I think that, but that's what I'm. I think that that's the other thing that resonates so much with people.
But he rolled it up. I mean, what he did was
he
big.
maximized.
But then he
10x.
Then he did this. He closed the curtains, and
hiding out.
he'll talk to me, but he's not going to come do this. And to me, the greatest thing I can do is actually share the information. I didn't have a dad when I was growing up, so I wanted one. And then my uncles, I had 3 uncles, and the uncles didn't come to my aid. And so I told myself out of anger, if I ever made it, I would come and I would continue to hopefully be the same guy that on the come up that I was if I ever made it.
Somebody told me once you pass the same people on the way down the ladder that you pass on the way up.
Coming up, yeah.
And it's so very true because I look at 2008, it's a perfect example.
Totally.
You know, if you burn, it's funny, but I didn't build anything else again until about 2017. And I called every one of my subcontractors and they all answered the phone and they said, "Where's the job? I'm on my way."
Yeah.
Because nobody lost working for me in 2008 but me.
Wow.
And you know, that's the perfect example of
Has anybody told
going
you
down the ladder.
to shut up? And I mean that by like stop giving away the information. Like stop sharing it. They don't belong in our club. Stop making it
100%.
sound like they can get to where
No,
we're
they haven't
at.
told me that, but they've told me that it would be better for me. Like I'm buying these big institutional quality assets. We were on the top 5 list last year of purchases in South Florida.
Okay.
So it was Cortland, Starwood, Blackstone, and Harbor Group, and me. Well, I'm the outlier. Like I'm the guy doing this with you guys.
Yeah.
I'm not the guy doing it with Goldman Sachs. So I was turned down on a deal. They wouldn't give it to me because of my model. It confuses them. They're like, this commercial real estate is controlled by white people above the age of 50. The whole thing's on a lockdown, completely controlled. They don't know they're doing this. This is completely unconscious. It's not like some plan.
Like, okay.
It's just they're fishermen, hunters, and they drink a lot. And
They roll in a circle that
they're
not everybody has
very,
access
very
to.
tight cycle.
Yeah.
Everybody knows everybody. And I infiltrated. And
Found the weak spot
to
in
me,
place.
I'm not.
They looked up and one day, there he was.
What's that dude doing in a room? You know? And then they're like, he's on this thing called Instagram. And he does these big events where there's 35,000. It's all weird to them. It's very confusing. He's hanging out with Rick Ross one day and Lloyd Blankfein the next. Like, who is this dude? You know? So, but things change. You know, I'm a new model to that environment, and I will crack the code there.
Yeah,
Quintessential disruptor.
Yeah, I am.
It's tough. I mean, you know, there's a lot of this. Every plaza on this street, and on Sterling and Griffin, are owned by the same group.
Yeah,
they own the in Aventura the waterways. They own that.
Wow.
They own, you know, I mean they own a lot of Wynwood.
Yeah,
but that's foreign money. That's a lot of money that you know.
Yeah, they probably got it from a sovereign fund over there.
Yeah, it's
the problem with that model for me, and I know you trying to get out, but
No, I'm not. I didn't.
we stay
she
all
said-
day.
Yeah, I was like, we can stay all day. What I don't want is to completely wear out our welcome with you because I would like for you to come back and talk
I
about
would love
your
to do
wife.
that.
too.
Like I'm trying to buy a deal right now,
Come back.
and the other group that's gonna, if they buy, what they're gonna do is they're gonna go get their money from one group that's gonna fund this project. Money's probably gonna come from Saudi Arabia. That doesn't benefit anybody in this room. Now, when I do it, if I can get this deal, I'm going to buy it with people that I know online. And it won't be a sovereign fund. It won't be Goldman, JP Morgan. It won't be any of those people. Then the people can eat.
It's Americans owning America.
Yeah.
Go figure.
And the little guys, the little people could own it. And because that sovereign fund's not going to come here and stay there.
No.
You know, they're going to probably go stay at a Ritz in New York. They're not going to even benefit the property.
Which they also own.
Yeah.
Which they also own.
Exactly.
We won't talk about
That's it's those clubs, those people like you are an inspiration for me because those clubs have always been off limits.
Yeah.
You know, it's one of those things, and I think that even goes to people who are uber wealthy. There's clubs they can't get.
That's
in.
right. 100%.
It's always stepping up, and I like to box above my weight class. That's what I like to do. I don't want to be the smartest person in the room, but I want to bring something to the table.
Right.
I want to bring value to whatever conversation I'm in, no matter who it's with.
You don't
And
want
I
to be
think
a smart person in the room either.
no, I mean, it's I like her. It's just that level of getting through and
it's hard,
being
man.
that
It's hard to punch through that.
being that once you get your hand in there.
And
Well, like you
imagine
said-
how hard it is if you're black
Oh yeah,
or brown or a woman.
yeah.
It just gets.
Can we loop that when we edit this clip for like TikTok and
Dude, it
Instagram? I
gets-
just want to make sure that.
It gets even harder. You know?
Facts.
So I know how hard it's been for me as a white man to break through into this group. I can't even imagine for my black friends, brown friends, and women how much more difficult it would be to get in those meetings.
Yeah.
But what I love and I take away from this conversation is that it is not lost on you what it means that you are in there.
Yeah.
And you're going to make sure that other people get in there too.
I'm going to keep
and
opening
that's
that door for other people.
the most important thing about this. And as we wrap up and let you go,
Thank you. Man,
what does this mean to you when you see ManTFup?
Yeah. So look, I mean, men have been demasculated in our society. It is just there are very few men left. Women have been, defeminized. I don't want my wife to be a man. I want to take care of certain things. I want to know I'm taking care of certain things. You made a comment about her making more money than me, bro. If she ever does, I mean. I'm all good for it. I'll be cool with it, but it ain't gonna be like I'm gonna stop because she did.
Ever.
We're gonna double down,
And that's what you should do.
and we're gonna be better examples for more people.
Yeah. And she's always going to be that woman to you. She's gonna continue that role. She's not giving up the role of being
right.
Grant's wife to chase a career or vice versa.
I don't need the he, she, and they thing. I'm not. I just.
Grant, don't open that can of worms, please.
You called it
Leave me
worms.
alone,
I
Jimmy.
didn't. You called it worms. I'm just saying. Look, let me just explain what
No,
I'm
I'm
saying.
fine with it.
No, the two of you are on the same page.
No, you don't know what page I'm on. Look, I find it complicated just to be he.
Yes.
You move me into they, I'm like, whoa, bro. Like I was hit on by a man in North Dakota. I think you know this story, right? You don't know this story?
I love
I was-
learning something new. That's
I
what
was
we're here
32 years old. I was at a Holiday Inn in Fargo, North Dakota. It was cold winter night.
for. I love this. You're a good storyteller.
And it was one of those covered Holiday Inns where the pool's inside. It's Fargo. You can't have it outside.
Yeah. Fire burning.
It's all cool.
love
And dude, I don't know. The room was $39 a night or something. And I went down.
Smelled like chlorine in the pool area,
smell
right?
the chlorine all around.
Yep.
It's got the little putt-putt golf course. And I get in the swimming pool. I got my little towel out there. I'm 32 years old. I'm in good shape. I've always been in decent shape. And this guy comes to the pool, older man, and he starts hitting on me. I'm like, hey, bro, look, let me be clear here. I find men-women relationships complicated. Like no hate on you. Like I have no judgment, whatever. But I can't even think with it.
I can't even fathom this.
And that was my way to walk away from it.
Yeah.
Right? He got out of the pool
I love it.
and probably
And I think that's a
went and hustled some other.
I
went and hustled the
Some
golf.
other cute little 32-year-old on the putt-putt court.
but that's
And then the next day, can I just interrupt you? I was working with a company, and I said, guys, I was hit on by a gay man last night in the Holiday Inn, and the guy looked at me that had hired me, says, there's one gay person in the entire state of North Dakota, and you found him. What does that say about you?
I'm a people person.
I said, hey, I love people.
I'm a people. People feel comfortable around me. That's what it says
I
about
make
me.
people comfortable.
And you fast forward, and here you are.
Yeah,
but
yeah,
no, I said that about your wife because you made a comment just talking about her never asking you to back away from your dreams,
Yes.
never asking you to
She's been
compromise, never asking you to make more time for her.
Yeah.
And again, that's a whole separate conversation.
Yeah, yeah.
Sabrina said maybe we can get Elena to come in.
Yeah.
Because I think that relationships and choosing the right partner.
Oh, yeah.
Is something
She has never asked me to slow down, which I know a lot of guys, and vice versa.
Well, and that was the point, is that you know she never asked you to do those things, and now as you are.
Yeah, she also. I remember
upswing,
when we first got together, and we were now together, right? And she would come in. I'd have a wad of money or something. She would take the ones.
Okay.
That was the first. She would
Yeah.
just take ones from me, and she'd get 11 ones or something. Say, okay, this is mine. I said, yeah, you can have it. Oh, thank you so much. She was so grateful for
Oh my
it.
gosh.
And then when she'd say, hey, you mind if I take a couple fives? I'm like, yeah, sure. That's where we came from. And she was grateful for the fives. So still today, she's still very grateful for.
But now it's the hundreds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now it's the whole wad. Now it's honey, I'm going on tour and I'm going to come
I
back
need
with my
4
own,
inches.
Yeah, with my own wad.
Yeah.
But she's always supported you and been
Yes.
right there, and
100%.
never questioned you in
Well,
business or.
she does question my driving, but
Well, that's
That's a very different conversation, Grant. And you know what? She's a good woman for doing so. But no.
He's an amazing driver. He's the best driver I have ever seen in my life.
Sabrina, we don't say things like that in front
tell
of them.
Mama that. Tell Mama.
We can say it behind their backs, but we don't
I
ever
am the
say it
best
to their
driver.
face.
I am a great driver.
Ever.
You can talk to me.
I love it. I don't want the smoke, Sabrina. I don't want the smoke.
Okay, you guys have been great. Thank you, guys.
No, you're-
Thank you.
Really
You're
appreciate it.
absolutely
I'll get Elena in here for
amazing.
you guys, all right?
She's fantastic. And thank you for supporting her on her way up too. And this one right here, this is who we all have to be on the lookout for is
Yes.
Sabrina. And I know that there's another one, but
She's
she's
convinced.
incredible.
She's convinced that she's going to run for president.
Oh yeah.
I'm here for it.
I think
you have
me and
my
you
vote.
should run in 24.
28.
You're
We
taking
need more. We
We need more time.
We need more time.
Well, I'm there for you. If
You got to build a war chest.
I'm right there for you.
You got to build a war chest.
Well, you're in the right rooms.
I'm in your war chest.
Grant Cardone, and thank you for giving us the what ManTFup means
Yeah.
to you. So we appreciate you making the time, Sabrina. Thank you, actually, Sabrina. Thank you for making the time for him to come in, because I know you made it very clear that you run the schedule in the show. So thank you for lending him to us.
That's me. That's me. Everything that happens, that's me.
I believe
I
it.
can take full credit for everything.
Listen.
Any success that he has ever had is because of me. I was alive, he's not. And I'm gonna take full credit for that.
Perception is 9
I
times
mean, really,
reality.
how long you been going at this? I mean, really, you became successful in the last 8, 10 years.
Yeah. I mean,
So it's clearly her.
Clearly, when she was born, everything just, I don't know what happened.
This is the clip that's going
For
viral.
any
by the way.
parents that think that your kids are in the way, I don't believe that.
No, I don't either.
Kids should spark all your creativity and give you another reason. Like me taking them out of the school system, How long is this clip going to be? A movie, man. But when we took them out of the school system, they had what, 5? You were 5 years old, 6 years old, 7, second grade or
school
something.
System, 3rd grade. So I don't know.
Yeah.
How old
So
you are.
whatever that is, I want them out of the school system. We didn't do it for them. We did it so I could be with them. And because I'm like, we're going to have 6 or 7 years go by and I didn't have my kids. So I'm with them all the time. They roll with me all the time. And
You
and
roll
I
with me.
I roll with her all the time. And I learn from her.
Yeah.
She sees things I can't see. And, it keeps me inspired. And I set a better example. I still curse too much. But, and I notice it every time I do it, right?
At
But,
least you know.
yeah.
Well, I do too, so I apologize for that. But
You're awesome.
But it is what it is. I think sometimes things are more emphatic when you add a little, it
Yeah.
it
Yeah, I
drives.
just tell her.
It drives the point home.
Yeah, I just tell her, you never do it.
Never.
It's never going to be.
Never.
It's never going to be received right with
Ever.
you. And so anyway, well, you guys, I feel like I'm with family with you guys.
Are you kidding me?
I didn't even, barely knew you guys a couple hours ago, and now I feel like family.
You're incredible. Like I said, thank you very much for stopping by the Man Cave, the ManTFup podcast. Listen, gems were dropped. Make sure you watch from beginning to end. Stream, follow, share, spread the word. Obviously, it's time to 10x your life, baby.
Let's go.
Yeah.
And everyone can do it. No matter what you're doing, you can 10x it. You could 10x that
You got to think.
4 shot with a little foam.
and
Make that man
shots
smile every
right.
time he comes.
4 shots. It's painful. It's like old problem. Traumatic experience.
She's got traumatic experience with barista.
All right.
And you know, because she wants to bring me back the right. Like, I let her do a lot of stuff. Like, stuff that I could go do, I'm like, you go do it.
It's empowering.
Exactly.
Except when the baristas are really mean. Which there's more mean baristas in the world than you think.
Well, you know what? Because there's probably more Grants out there ordering 4 shots with no foam or whatever kind of foam, getting on their damn nerves.
You're going to change that because you're going to be teaching kids.
No, I talked to
You're gonna
Howard
be teaching
Schultz
kids.
about this same problem when he was CEO of the company.
And it still hasn't been changed. So how much pull do you really have? That's what I want to know.
No, he shook his head. He's like, I know. We had to call your drink something.
No,
okay.
But it is empowering, and I can't wait to see what you do with, what is it, 10X Kids University?
She's either going to do something really, really big or really, really terrible. That's what I tell her. Your call, bro.
Same thing. They're the same thing. Really big things and really terrible things. The same thing.
Well, listen.
Yeah.
So long as you,
It's going to be big
no matter
either
what,
way.
You'll figure it out.
you just get back up and do it again.
Really terrible, guys. Don't worry.
Thanks, guys.
Great. Thank you.
Thank
babe.
you.
That was awesome, guys.